Hey, before we get started, just a quick personal question. Take a second and think. Where is your cell phone right now? I'm gonna bet it's pretty close, within arm's reach, right? For a lot of you, you might actually be watching this on it. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are talking all about that little supercomputer we just can't seem to put down. And, there's a really good reason it's always so close. A massive reason, actually. The average American spends over 5 hours on their phone. And that's not per week, that is every single day. That is a huge chunk of our waking life. So yeah, today we're going to dig into why these little devices have such a powerful grip on us. And more importantly, what we can actually do about it to build a healthier, more intentional relationship with them. This constant closeness, this almost instinctual need to have our phones nearby, well, it's led to a modern phenomenon that actually has a name. It's a feeling a lot of us have, probably without even realizing it. Right. It's called nomophobia. It's a pretty clever combination of no mobile phone phobia. And it's that little jolt of anxiety, or maybe even full-on panic, that you feel when you can't find your phone or you see the battery's about to die. And look, this isn't some rare thing. A recent study of young adults found that pretty much everyone shows some level of nomophobia. I mean, just look at this breakdown. More than half feel moderate anxiety, and almost 1 in 5 are dealing with a severe case. But here's the kicker. This widespread anxiety, it's not an accident, and it's not some kind of personal weakness. This feeling that we all have is, in so many ways, by design. That's it, exactly. As tech journalist Catherine Price puts it, we're all living in what's called an attention economy. And in this economy, our attention, well, it's the product. App creators aren't really selling us anything. They're selling our time and our focus to advertisers. So how do they keep us glued to the screen? Well, they actually borrow psychological tricks from one of the most addictive machines ever made, the slot machine. The parallel is kind of spooky when you see it laid out.
It really is. With a slot machine, you pull a lever for an unpredictable cash prize. With your phone, you swipe to refresh for an unpredictable social prize, a like, a comment, a new video. It's the same principle.
Yeah, they're both built on this really powerful process in our brains called a dopamine loop. So a trigger, like a buzz in your pocket, makes you take an action. You check your phone. You get a little reward, a like, or a message, and your brain gets a hit of dopamine. It feels good. So your brain says, hey, let's do that again. And boom, a habit is born. But this endless cycle of digital treats, it isn't free. This constant connection comes with some very real-world costs to our health, mentally, physically, and even socially. Mentally and emotionally, the toll can be pretty heavy. Studies are now linking excessive smartphone use to higher rates of depression and anxiety. It can really chip away at our self-esteem when we're constantly comparing our real lives to someone else's perfect online life. And of course, it creates that nagging fear of missing out, FOMO. And then there's the physical stuff. That blue light from our screens messes with our sleep. We get what some people call tech neck from always looking down. And socially, it can really get in the way of having deep, empathetic conversations when we're only ever half present. The impact on kids is especially concerning. This research shows a really stark difference in mental health based on when a child gets their first smartphone. The numbers speak for themselves. Kids who got one before they were 13 reported way higher rates of severe suicidal thoughts later on as young adults. And maybe the most immediate, terrifying danger is distracted driving. In the US alone, we're talking about thousands of fatal accidents every year because of it. Just a few seconds looking at your phone while you're driving, it's just not worth the risk. It's never worth it. Okay, so the point here isn't to make technology the bad guy or to tell everyone to throw their phones away. It's about flipping the script, about learning to control the device instead of letting it control us. Exactly. And that's the whole idea behind being mobile mindful. It means shifting from using your phone as a reflex, for mindless scrolling, to using it as a tool with intention for the things you actually want to do. And you can start with some surprisingly simple steps. Turn off all the notifications that aren't from actual people. That's a huge one for breaking that dopamine loop. Here's a cool one. Set your screen to grayscale. It makes your phone so much less appealing. And, create some physical boundaries, like no phones at the dinner table. And actually schedule offline things that you love to do. And this really gets to the core of it because we don't want to lose all the amazing things our phones can do. When we use them mindfully, they are incredibly powerful tools for staying connected, for learning, for getting things done. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important point. Taking back control of our phone use is really about reclaiming our most valuable resource, and it's one we can't get more of. It's our attention. This quote from Catherine Price just says it all, doesn't it? The entire attention economy is fighting for that resource because what we choose to pay attention to moment by moment, it all adds up. It literally becomes our life. So we'll just leave you with that question to think about. This is your one life. What do you really want to pay attention to?
It's a big question for sure. We hope this explainer gave you some good food for thought. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to stay updated and discover more cool stuff with us.